Alright, ladies and gents, welcome to a very interesting video. My name is Taylor Bentrud, and as someone who has spent probably close to 6 figures on courses from gurus, that is what most people call them, such as Tai Lopez or Sam Ovens or Russell Brunson or people like this, I feel compelled to share my opinion on how I feel about these types of people that typically flaunt lifestyles that are very materialistic. And this isn't just a big rant on how it's terrible or how it's good. Like, I'm going to give you some non-dualistic, unconditionally loving opinion on this, which is probably pretty unconventional relative to what most other people are doing when they're talking about these types of people, because I've spent money on them. I know what it's like to go through their stuff. I've also seen why people hate them. And so I want to give you the non-dualistic opinion on them, because I wish I would have had this for myself when I was 19, 20 years old, because I didn't, and it led me down a path that kind of slowed my trajectory in terms of my growth personally. So let's get straight into it. I mean, this is, Tai Lopez is one example. There's many other people we can look at, but first of all, why are humans so subject to falling victim to a loving or hating opinion on polarizing figures such as Tai Lopez? Okay, let's just take him as an example. It's because they lack context. And this is a very beautiful and very important mental model that so many humans lack. Context over content. What is content? Content is this photo of Tai Lopez here with the Ferrari, the Rolls Royce, and the private jet. He posts on Instagram, and hundreds, maybe thousands of people talk about how he's terrible for, flaunting a materialistic lifestyle that causes depression for lots of people. Then there's other people who love it because they want that exact same thing. And there's very few people who don't comment at all and see something like that and see both sides, and they understand it from a contextual standpoint because they understand the context. So content is when you look at the thing as it is, just as it is. Okay, you're looking at this photo and you're judging the photo for what it is. But when you're looking at context, you're looking at the guru or the person that you have a very dualistic, polarizing opinion on. From a contextual standpoint, you can use Donald Trump, you can use Hillary Clinton, you can use Tai Lopez, Grant Cardone, I don't care who you use. Context is the most beautiful thing in the world because it removes a lot of pain out of your life when you can see things through context. So what do I mean? How can you see Tai Lopez through context? Well, first of all, that's why humans fall victim, because they don't understand context. Now let's explain context and how it allows you to look at someone like Tai Lopez and not fall into a hate or love bucket, but be on the edge. Robert Kiyosaki talked about being on the edge. There's heads, there's tails on the coin, and very few people live on the edge where they peer down and they see both sides and they see the pros and cons of both sides. That's context. You're living kind of on the edge and you're allowed to see both sides. So I know this is kind of a long intro getting into it, but context is seeing Tai Lopez and realizing that he serves a beautiful purpose for humanity, myself included, okay? And this is why I have greater context on someone like this, because I had an open mind. I saw Tai Lopez's stuff. I was 19 years old. I saw an ad of him in his garage as a Lamborghini talking about reading books and how it made him a millionaire and drives all these cars and lives in Beverly Hills and blah, 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 blah. And guess what? I was like, you know what? This guy looks like he could be a scam, but I'm gonna keep an open mind. It's $67. What do I have to lose? I can get a refund if I want. Taking a standpoint of context requires an open mind, because if you have a closed mind, you're gonna only be looking at content, and you're gonna be very judgmental, and you're gonna go through life in a not so happy way because you're judging people 24/7. And it's not a good thing to be judging. It's better to just be unconditionally loving and see everything through a contextual viewpoint. So, content. Okay, great. But context. I bought this program, right? And I was like, wow, this is great information. I didn't learn this in school. I'd love to learn more from this person. Fast forward, it allowed me to get my agency rolling. It put me on the path of where I am today. I wouldn't be here. I don't know if I'd be here where I am today if I didn't buy Tai Lopez's program. So did it serve a beautiful purpose for humanity? Well, if you like my videos and you hate Tai Lopez, well, now you're going to have to look at things differently, because I likely wouldn't be here without his Here in My Garage ad that he ran. So it served a beautiful purpose for me personally, and here is where it didn't serve a beautiful purpose for me. And it still did in the end, but it put me down a path for several years where I obsessed over materialistic desires, like a private jet and like Lamborghinis and like a house in Beverly Hills and a mansion and all this stuff, because that's what Tai had. So he was a role model in my life, and I was like, you know what, this dude has all this stuff, and I also want that stuff. I mean, who doesn't want all that stuff? It'd be pretty cool to have a private jet and a Ferrari and all that stuff. You don't need it, but it'd be pretty cool. My 19-year-old self, huge ego, very arrogant, and wants all the materialistic desires. Loves Louis Vuitton, loves Gucci, loves fancy cars, wants to live in a big house and a private jet. Why? Because that is what Tai preaches a lot. And he shows that, and he showcases it 24/7. And so that sucked for me because it took me a long time to realize that none of that stuff brings you happiness. And not a long time, but like a couple years, 2 to 3 years, whatever. So it was when I started getting into like a bit of spirituality stuff and, started reading into consciousness and other things and reading about like Zen and Buddhism and other things. When I started to learn context and how, like none of that stuff actually matters. All that really matters is that you enjoy the journey of life. You don't need to have a Ferrari. You don't need to have a fancy house. You don't need anything. Just like be happy with the journey. Okay. So the problem that with Tai is also a beautiful thing because it allowed me to go through this realization process. So some of you might be listening like, oh my God, yeah, Tai, like he put you through this terrible 2 to 3 year period of like materialistic desires. You should have never done that. No. That's okay. Everything is divine. Everything's perfect. Like if I hadn't gone through that phase, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be happy with the work that I do. I wouldn't be happy with the journey because I'd still be obsessing over material, most likely. Okay, I don't know that for sure, but most likely. So you got to look through things through context. You can always see the bad. It's always very easy to come up with reasons why something won't work, reasons with why something is bad. It takes more time and energy to look at someone that is a polarizing figure like Tai Lopez and think to myself, what is the good in this? And it's so hard for you to see the good because maybe you've never bought his program. Maybe you don't have as much context as I do. I know multiple people that have been through his programs and seen tremendous success and then have gone on to help more people become successful and live happier lives. Okay. And so I have more experiences that will give me a different opinion, obviously, but you have to have an open mind. You can't have a closed mind. Now, here's the thing. Okay, great. You can see him through context, and that allows you to have a non-dualistic, unconditionally loving opinion on someone like Tai Lopez. In general, my opinion now on flaunting lifestyle, I don't think it's a bad thing. Here's why. Because it attracts a certain type of person at a certain stage of their life. So for me, when I was 19 years old, when I bought this program, I was very egotistical, but it got me out of working my job in construction, which I hated, and it got me reading books, which I hated reading books. I thought reading books was just ridiculous. I would have never read books. But because I saw this dude who had some things that I wanted, I was willing to, consider it. I was like, I'm going to keep an open mind. And part of some of Tai's lessons that he taught me was always be open-minded, always have high awareness, et cetera, be aware of what you deserve. There was some great stuff that he taught me. And because of him flaunting that lifestyle, I was attracted to it, and I was able to get my vector, my journey on the proper course, right? My journey changed quite drastically the moment I bought his course, and he gave me all these mental models for how to go through life at a young age. Whereas I didn't have that in school, okay? A lot of the lessons he taught me, my parents didn't teach me, okay? Nobody taught me any of the stuff that he taught me. So I was very blessed to go through that. Now, looking back, looking at Tai Lopez, I'm not attracted to the guy. I don't buy his courses anymore. I don't learn from him at all. And part of that is because, one, it's not relevant for me to learn from him for what I'm doing. There's other people that are better that I can learn from. One of his principles is to learn from the best. He's not the best person to learn from for how to scale an agency. He has probably several agencies, but the dude's got hundreds of companies, and for what I want to do and for who is the best at scaling an agency, he's not that. He's good at teaching you how to start an agency, probably better than most people for his SMMA stuff, which is pretty decent. But is he the best? No. So I don't learn from him. Principle that he taught me, great. But also, I don't really like the idea of flaunting lifestyle because I don't resonate with that anymore. I'm not attracted to that anymore. I'm more attracted to someone who is flaunting the love for the journey. I don't post videos about lifestyle stuff because that's not what I care about. For people who care about that, you'll see them making a lot of videos about that. It's the mirror of life. As within, so without. As above, so below. What you see that is produced by me on YouTube is what I actually truly love. I truly love growing the agency. I actually love building systems. I like working on the damn company. I enjoy working. I could have a laptop with great Wi-Fi and a safe environment to work out of, good food, I'm happy. I don't need to live in a big house. I don't need to have a Ferrari. I don't need to have a jet. In fact, if you took away my company, my agency, and you gave me like $1 billion and you said, Taylor, you can't work for the rest of your life, but here's $1 billion and now you can go have fun and travel the world and buy a jet and have a Ferrari, I would be less happy than I am right now. So that's why I'm not really attracted to that right now. And that's why you don't see me making videos about like, hey, I'm here in my house and like I just bought this Rolex, that's why I don't have a Rolex. That's why I have an Oura ring and not like a gold watch or a Rolex or like a chain on, or I don't have any Louis Vuitton. You don't see me wearing like Gucci sweaters. Like I wear our company logos. I wear Better AMS. I wear Agency Enlighten. Those are the two things I care the most about. And that's why I make these videos about that stuff. And that's why the clothes I wear are about that stuff. And that is why I work so much. So hopefully this has helped you. This is a video I would have loved to watch when I was like 19, 20 years old. It would have kind of sped up my evolution of releasing the materialistic desires, which is kind of what this video is all about. But take it from someone who's bought all the damn courses from a lot of different gurus. And I say gurus because it's the term that everybody uses, and it's more or less going to help more people see this video, because if I use like teachers, some people may not click on it. But gurus, great. You could even call me a guru because I make videos and I try to help people on YouTube. That's totally fine. I don't care about the classification of the word. It's a verbiage. It doesn't matter. It's a symbol, okay? And it's a symbol that people use, and some people don't use it. Great. It doesn't matter. The point is that you're able to see human beings, especially polarizing humans like Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, or Tai Lopez, Grant Cardone. Whoever is a polarizing figure in your life that brings up certain triggers and certain distortions, you need to see it through a contextual lens, not a content lens, right? Like the content, you can't just look at the person and judge the person. You can't look at the action and judge the action. You need to look at the context behind why that action occurred and how that action affects the rest of humanity. And you'll never know the full context. So you need to be humble enough to realize that, shit, I'll never understand the full context of how Tai Lopez's Ferraris and flaunting his lifestyle marketing strategy affects humanity. I'll never truly be smart enough to fully understand the context of if this is positive or negative for humanity, or if it's just neutral and doesn't even matter, or if everything is just divine and all of it's perfect and there is no positive or negative. It doesn't matter. The point is that you need to be humble enough to realize that, like, if there is a God, you're not at his level of processing. Whether you believe there is a God or not, you don't have God-like processing abilities. The human brain is unfortunately not that genius. So you just need to be humble, enjoy the journey. Don't fall in love with material. Fall in love with the journey, because the journey is where eternal source of joy will come from. And material is where very short-term dopamine spikes will come from, which last less than like 48 hours, okay? So hopefully this was insightful. Hopefully this was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know. I know it's kind of a different video. It's somewhat unique, but I'm also kind of making it for my previous self, and I hope that there's some of you guys who appreciate it enough to want me to continue making content and subscribe to the channel. I mean, it's the only thing I ask of you to do. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts. In the comment section, I do my best to respond to all comments, usually on Sundays. I haven't done it in a while, but I promise I'll get to it sometime soon. All right, much love, you guys. Thanks for watching this. Hopefully this was valuable. Hit the sub button for me. Much love. Ciao.